So, if you've ever watched my story about how I got off benzodiazepines and healed my brain, you'll know that in that story, I told you that I sat on my back deck for 9 months. And in those 9 months, I really went deep inside myself. And it was partly because I had become so agoraphobic and just afraid to leave the house. And also just the pain I was in. I couldn't think anyway. And trying to get off of those benzos just made me feel less than human. And so I isolated because I just slowly felt out of step and out of touch with the world and with people in my life, and ashamed and confused, and couldn't carry on a conversation because my short-term memory was just gone. So those 9 months were really brutal. They were isolating and lonely and full of a lot of pain. And in those 9 months, I went deep inside myself and got to know myself very closely. And I dredged out a lot of stuff. And I worked myself to the end of me. And I came out the other side really changed and different, but also, as you know, wanting to not be on the planet anymore. But in those 9 months, I I felt so lonely and empty, and I thought, I saw the birds in the trees and stuff, and I really enjoyed watching them fly around. They were really the only living things that I was seeing, and I started like talking to them, like making commentary out loud, saying, "Hey, you lost your mate. She's over there in the other tree," and you could tell he's looking for her and stuff like that. And I would just kind of talk out loud to them every once in a while. And I was like, "Oh my God, I need to get a bird feeder." And so I got one, and they became, and it was hard to get too. I mean, I had to brave the panic, and I ordered an Uber, and it was a pretty rough trip to go get it. But it made it mean that much more when I hung it. I was so proud of it. And I was like, here you go. And they kind of looked at me because I'm sitting there right there on the deck by the feeder. But eventually they just got used to seeing me sitting there day in and day out. Like they knew I wasn't going to move or hurt them or do anything. And it was it became the highlight of my studying of life and animals and myself and the planet and watching how they lived and how versus how we live, and watching them communicate with each other and problem solve and deal with each other at the feeder. And I got to know the pairs, the mated pairs. I started to understand who the offspring were and when one was missing, and how the sort of the order of who gets to come to the feeder. And it became they became my family, and it was a really amazing experience. And I never stopped feeding them. And most of the birds that you're seeing here in this video are my family now. And they're the same ones that keep coming back. The only one that's missing this year is the female cardinal. This video that you're watching was made in 2021, winter of 2021. And it's now 22 that I'm uploading it. I just haven't had time to upload it. But that female cardinal, I haven't seen her this year, and I'm kind of sad about that. I just wanted to ask you to do me a favor here. I know that it seems pointless and stupid because there's a bunch of bird videos and TV for cats and all that. But what I want to ask you to do, I know it's hard and I don't expect you to be able to do it, and that's fine if you can't. But I want to see if you can. If you can't, can you try to come back and try it again? But I want you to just see if you can watch long enough to figure out some of the same things, the pecking order, who belongs to who, who's mated to who, how do they act when different ones come to the feeder. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is I know that I know that you're supposed to slow down your life. I know that that you're supposed to meditate. I know that you're supposed to walk in nature. And there are plenty of tests and research that show the physiological effects that nature has on your body. I mean, of course it would. You know, that's we've always lived in it, and it's only a recent phenomenon that we don't. But just nature sounds and viewing nature can lower your heart rate. But more than that, it can actually stimulate your immune system and raise your feel good hormones. But I leave this here because if you can't get outside, if for whatever reason that's stopping you from being able to get out in nature, if you're having a hard time meditating, if you can't fall asleep, and if you're getting tired of social media or you want to take a break from watching videos online, just try to watch this as long as you can and see if you can start to pick up on whatever it is you pick up on with this family of birds in my backyard. They're my family, and I would like you to meet them. So it's just kind of my way of bringing you sort of the same gift that I was given of having this amazing backyard and back deck and the healing that it gave me, and just offering it up to you if you want to use it. Enjoy them. I love you, beautiful people.